What's up, bitches? It's me, AJ. I'm actually the one recording this podcast. This is gonna be episode. What is it, Urban?
I don't know. I
I
think
think it's episode 8 or so.
Yeah, it's
eight
gonna
or
be,
nine.
This is gonna be episode 8. Yeah, it's me recording instead of Urban because his lazy ass doesn't even want to do it. So basically, what's going on
Bro.
here is like, what's going on
Making
here?
sure the screen's black or something, like you're focused.
I'm just here babbing.
Yeah, what's going on here is basically we're just doing history lessons with Pickle. I'm gonna make this episode like 30 minutes again, but it's.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
This is gonna be the dweebingless episode. I apologize, my friends.
Yeah, sorry guys. The
Alright.
funny isn't here because
Alright,
Dweeb decided to be fat.
Continue, Pickle.
I gotta start up with a whole other topic.
Let me start a 30-minute timer and I'll freaking.
Alright, sure.
And once
Let's give you a
So-
topic.
Alright.
No, I'll give myself a topic. I'll talk about, you guys make fun of me for being Central America a lot, so we'll talk about that.
The history
Bet.
of Central America.
Bet, go, shoot, go.
So before the New Worlders, the people, Europeans, the Spaniards, all that other shit, came into the New World. Most of Central America was just a bunch of native tribes, as most of you know. Bunch of dudes who just wanted to survive. They were pretty peaceful for the most part, and by that I mean they would gut you alive and gut each other alive for being in the wrong clan.
You
Or
call that
tribe,
peaceful?
depends too.
Yeah. That
No,
makes
they
sense.
weren't really peaceful at all. They would gut each other. They were pretty ferocious too. Now I know people talk a lot about how the Spaniards were brutal, but if the Spaniards were brutal, Jesus Christ, these natives were just,
They were fucking.
they were fucked.
Oh,
So anyway, then you know what happens next. The natives didn't document much, and what they did document was fucking burned by the goddamn Christian West, because of course it was. You know why? It was deemed as paganism. Paganism being basically not believing in God. And the God that we're talking about is not the Muslim God, not the Buddhist God, but the Catholic God, of course.
You mean Jesus and God?
No, Jesus is not God. He's basically God manifested on earth. He's not like God,
No, I said Jesus and God.
Alright.
I guess that counts, but you better count the Holy Spirit as well.
There's a fucking spirit named the Holy Spirit. What does he do?
Yeah. Anyhow, we're gonna be talking about the rest of. Okay. I'm trying to talk here. Now, when the Spaniards came, they were just like, "Yo, time to convert to fucking Christianism, right? Time to convert to Catholicism, all this other shit.
Remember, I'm
Become
recording, no hard
Spanish.
Rs.
You can now speak Spanish, yes, and fuck your goddamn stupid ass fucking original languages. They're all stupid and lame. I can't even speak half of this.
Spanish.
They're like, oh,
Spanish is
that's
a nice language.
What's this on this What's on this paper? Fuck is that?
all right. So after a while, the Spanish just came, brought their women and all that other shit, and we're like, yo, okay. So you know how most empires were just kind of economic and they weren't all about culture and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you see former French colonies, they still have most of their traditions left. You see former English colonies, they didn't take much tradition. Now, you go to Spanish colonies and it's just fucked. I'm talking like really goddamn fucked, considering like the original goddamn natives that were once there are either like minimalized to the point where there are literally none of them, or they were all wiped from the face of the planet. So basically, what the Spanish did was expand their culture to other parts of the globe. And where this is most visible is throughout South and Central America, basically Latin America. So that's why you see that's why we speak Spanish in the first place. That's why we have a lot of Spanish traditions, Spanish, Spanish shit in general. Anywho, you know what happened next. So the Spanish people came, we became mestizos because, Spanish
Fuck you.
women started to fuck native men. Spanish men started to fuck the shit out of native women. Because, let's be honest, native women are fucking hot, or were hot. Because, they don't exist anymore.
Women don't exist.
No, native people.
Why
you know?
do you come?
Anywho, after all that, the Spanish just decided to become a shitty empire. Because, most of Britain, France, all these other motherfuckers were starting to catch up. They were like, yo, we're going to start colonizing shit too in Africa and all these other goddamn... Oh my god, I'll be right back.
Oh no. We lost our lesson with Pickle. Now what?
This is our intermission period. So Urban, what do you want to talk about? Remember, no like hard R's. I'm recording this shit.
I can't even say those.
Well,
What do we want to talk about? I don't know. I mean, life's been pretty good, I guess. No more fucking
Okay, what was I talking about? All right. So basically,
Spanish.
Britain and France and all these other goddamn countries, European countries, were like, yo, we're gonna become empires and better than you. I know you got the head start, but I don't care. Man, fuck all that progress you made. We're gonna take away all your shit. Matter of fact, we're gonna make you look weak and pathetic so it's like your goddamn colonies won't need you. And so your colonies are gonna start to want independence.
Uh-huh.
And fun fact, back then, Central America, all of it was part of Mexico, which was once called I don't know, Mestizo America, something along the lines of that.
Mestito America.
No, Mestizo America. Either way, I don't think that's the.
Mastita. Did I get it right?
No,
Fuck.
that's like a whole other thing. Anyhow, yeah,
Que la movera cacao.
along like
Just out of nowhere.
so every Spanish colony was gaining independence one by one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. Argentina, Colombia, Paraguay, all these other goddamn. Well, I'm not sure if Paraguay was part of the Spanish Empire, but whatever. Point is, they were all getting independence, right?
Oh shit!
And
that guy's got a big ass
This,
sword.
of course, doesn't leave out Mexico. Now, why does Mexico matter? Because, Central America is part of Mexico. And, of course, Central America was like, fuck this. I don't want to be part of Mexico. They're corrupt, shitty, they suck. Because at this point, Mexico was extremely unstable because the Spanish were to make sure that, if the goddamn natives were going to win this war, or the mestizos in this case, they were going to make sure nothing was left, nothing was there, so they couldn't rebuild, and they would be weak and stupid and die. They basically burnt down a ton of shit and committed various fucking war crimes, which is what we would have called them if war crimes were a thing back then.
Well, what was the severity of these crimes? Like on a scale of 1 to 10.
Burned down entire goddamn villages.
So
Okay, scale of 1 to 10.
basically, so basically they just committed fuck, what was it called again?
A ton of shit, a ton of bad shit.
I'm trying to think of the name of what that town was. There's a town somewhere literally just got burnt to the fucking ground, like in modern age. I forget what it's called.
Basically that.
Actually, boys, listen. I feel like we should make little segments like these where the gang isn't all together. I feel like we should just make.
We just learned.
We should rename them Poggermo, little freaking podcast poggers.
Can I continue? And
Yeah.
after this, Mexico was being a corrupt piece of shit. No one really liked them all that much. No one's ever really liked Mexico all that much, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So
You like
anyway, so
Mexico?
all of Central America was just like, man, fuck them. I want to be independent. And by me being independent, I mean the entirety of Central America become its own little nation. I'm talking the Central American Union, which was back then called Los Estados Unidos de Centroamérica. It was pretty fucking good. Anyhow, after that, they of course won the War of Independence. And by that I mean they just said, yo, can we get independence? Ah, fine. Fuck you. Fuck you. Because, Mexico was being a dumb bitch, and instead of becoming a republic or something, they became an empire. They wouldn't only do this once or twice. They did this 3 fucking times. Which was pretty goddamn stupid, but yeah, of course.
Hey, damn shit.
So once they became independent, they were like, yo, we're our own country now. What do we do? And then they just started fighting with each other a ton. To the point where they were like, yo, no, we're not Central Americans. I'm Honduran. No, I'm Salvadorian. No, I'm fucking Nicaraguan, whatever. And so they just divided each other a ton to the point where they were just like, you know what? Fuck this union. I'm my own thing. And so Central America went from a strong union to like 7 or 8 shitty republics. It's probably the worst
Sounds like a
thing
lot of
that's ever
fun.
happened to the goddamn region. Considering that, the state of our countries now are nothing to be proud of, considering foreigners live better off there than the people who were actually born and worked there. Which is pretty shitty.
Yeah. Weren't there a couple Spanish
Anyhow.
Civil Wars?
There was only one. Also, we're not in Spain anymore. Spain fucked off to Spain.
So we went to Spain.
Mexican Civil Wars.
No. There were a ton, dude. Mexico is the most unstable place in the goddamn world. If you count every Mexican civil war there has been, you'd need a lot more fingers, dude.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Mexico has just had a ton of civil wars. One of them was empires versus republic dudes, then communism started rising. And the modern one we're experiencing right now, one that's happening to this very day, is the drug war.
Have you ever noticed?
Sounds like fun. Holy shit.
Have you ever noticed now that Dweebing's not here, you know, and it's just like calmed down, we're all just acting orderly? Like,
Yes.
I guess.
Dweebing's not here, we're acting orderly, probably because we're just listening to Pickle tell his freaking history lesson. Which I
Anyway,
swear to
after
God,
that,
if
the
Pickle the
Monroe
teacher.
Doctrine.
if Pickle
What?
The Monroe Doctrine happened, which you know what the Monroe Doctrine is. Basically says, hey, this is our part of the world. All of you Eurofags can fuck off. The United States controls this region. Fuck off. And so that's what they did. But then France was like,
do
yo,
that to New Mexico?
what do you mean New Mexico? New Mexico is part of the United States.
No, I'm pretty sure like back then it was a Mexico, and then America just said fuck off. And they took it back, or they took it.
No. What happened, what you're talking about is Texas wanted to become independent, and they did so. But Mexico didn't accept the defeat, and so they were like, yo, you're still part of Mexico. And so when Texas finally got annexed by the U.S., Mexico threw a bitchy fit. They were like, yo, you can't do that. They're part of Mexico. And so once the U.S. sent soldiers there, the Mexicans started firing, and a whole goddamn war happened.
So essentially,
That's how that's
so Mexico couldn't take the L in this case, which resulted in them just acting a fool.
which resulted in them having worse defeats, considering Santa Anna, the goddamn basically king of Mexico at that point, took a fat L twice because he couldn't take the L the first time.
It's so basically it's like when you get your ass whooped in the first round, you're just like nah, pull up, and then you get. Your
If
ass
they
whooped
let
the second
Texas
round.
become independent, I bet Mexico would still have most of its lands. I'm talking New Mexico, California, etc. And I was talking about Central America. So back then they started becoming their own little fucking things. And they were like, yo, fuck you. They were extremely nationalist. Thus, a lot of wars broke out between them. Most infamous war was the football war, which is kind of like disguised as a war that happened over football, but that couldn't be farther from the truth.
How does
So what
war,
happened?
how does a war happen over football? That's my question.
No, it didn't happen over football.
I know, but
It happened because the Honduran dictatorship was like, yo, you know what Trump was doing with the Mexicans? That the Mexicans are taking your jobs and shit.
Yeah.
That's basically what Hondurans did, or what the Honduran president at that point did with the Salvadorians. He only did it to say, oh yeah, because most Central American politicians are like really goddamn corrupt, and so he just wanted to shift the blame to Salvadorians. And you want to know what the Hondurans did?
What did they do?
They burnt down a lot of fucking Salvadorian homes, started bullying a bunch of Salvadorian people. I think they've killed a couple as well. I think my great grandpa was like, not my great grandpa. I think like one of my relatives has a goddamn grandpa who was through that. They basically told him to, hey, go back to El Salvador, dude. They're gonna fucking burn you alive if you stay here.
You can't stay
And
here
so
anymore, bro. You're going to fucking die.
Exactly. And that's how the war kind of started. But football was basically what made it more visible to the world, because this is where the hatred was truly shown. And so while many say it was, oh, you want to know how it was shown?
Oh.
Okay, so the Honduran team was shitting on the Salvadorian team. Hondurans were basically waving a bunch of shit that said, hey, Salvadorians, you can go fuck off. And of course the Salvadorians weren't going to take the shit. And so they proceeded to just beat the shit out of each other on the stadium. That's why they had to call off the games a bunch of times. I think this happened twice, but both Hondurans and Salvadorians would basically annoy the living shit out of the other team when they were supposed to be asleep. And so that's how the goddamn Salvadorians won, or how the other side won in the first place. Because the other team would be too tired to play.
Just done with this shit, basically. Where the fuck did half of my checks go?
And of course, the Salvadorian government was like, hey, can you like stop doing this? First off, most of our people don't even fit in our country anymore. We have 2 people here because they're coming back from your dumbass place. And second off, I'm not really appreciating you burning the shit out of our civilians, dude. That sucks. And Honduras would have stopped, but they were like, nah, fuck you. And you know what El Salvador did?
What
They
did do?
initiated a full-on fucking invasion of the entirety of Honduras.
Damn. By the way, what did I miss?
At first, it started off well.
The football war.
Yeah, the football war. We skipped a ton of stuff. Basically, what you missed was Central America became a bunch of dictatorships installed by the U.S. They became reliant on the banana companies of the U.S. as well, which is why they basically run the place. It's not the U.S. itself or, the Central American governments. No. It's the motherfucking banana companies.
Bruh.
I wish I was joking too, but no, I'm not. I'm dead serious.
It's funny because banana companies.
And you would not believe the
Can we
types of
become a
atrocities
banana company?
You would not believe the type of atrocities these type of people have committed against each other and the people.
Bananas most wanted.
Shut the fuck up. We're not all monkeys.
Uh.
Anyhow, about the football war. So they were initiating a ground assault on the entirety of Honduras, going pretty well. Nicaragua wanted to help out Honduras because Nicaragua always had some beef with the smallest nation in Central America for some reason. But despite being the smallest nation in Central America, it had always been the toughest and most resistant and least corrupt out of all of them. Kind of like Chihuahuas, but not as annoying.
Chihuahuas are annoying.
No shit.
Oh,
they're
they're not.
They're small little dogs, bro.
They're not annoying. They're just like, they're dumb and they're like tough shit. They try to act like tough shit.
You like shit that's tough?
Not like that, Urban. Anyhow, the fucking U.S. got involved after a while because Honduras was being a bitch and like, no, you can't do this. This is violating, world law and shit. Because by this point, this was around like,
convention, I think.
oh yeah, this was around the 40s or so. So World War II was going on, or it went on.
It was vibing.
Mm-hmm. And so the U.S. was like, hey, can you stop doing this? This is obviously against international law. And they were like, yo, you know what else is against international law? Burning civilians, being a corrupt piece of shit, which we do ourselves, but we don't talk about that. Anyhow, yeah, Honduras sucks. I'm not pulling out. And the U.S. was like, okay, fine, Jesus.
Pulling out, wait.
Out of Honduras. They were invading them. I was telling you this.
So basically, Honduras are a bunch of hypocrites, or was that the people invading them?
No, the people invading them were the Salvadorians.
So were the Salvadorans hypocrites, or were the Hondurans hypocrites?
Both of the republics are hypocrites, honestly.
Right.
Both of the governors are hypocrites, basically.
Hmm.
But the point is, they were pretty pissed at the Hondurans for being assholes. However, the U.S. asked them a second time, hey, can you, pull out now? I don't think this is good. And they were like, no, fuck off.
And what did the U.S. do? Did they just turn their heels and run, or?
No, the U.S. said, hey, okay, do it or we'll sanction you, which basically means they will block off trade from El Salvador. No one will come in or out the country. And they're like, okay, fine, Jesus Christ. And so the war ended. The winners, no one won. Fuck you. All the Salvadorian people pulled out, and Honduras was given back its lands. It wasn't given any either because, if they took anything from El Salvador, it would be way smaller, which is something they don't want. And so, yeah. You know what happens after this?
What?
Cold War time!
Fuck.
Woo!
Okay, so the Soviet Union started getting more of a hold in Central America. Nicaragua just became communist. Honduras was getting there, and El Salvador sure as shit didn't want to do that. So, okay, how do you pronounce this party's name? La Alianza Republicana Nacionalista del Salvador was created, which in short means Arena. These corrupt motherfuckers, oh, you wouldn't believe them. Okay, so they were created to fight against the communists, right?
Nah.
And they were basically like the Nationalist Republican Alliance of El Salvador, which is what it basically means.
Mm-hmm.
And once the Civil War actually started, right, the amount of atrocities both sides would commit it's kind of like the why the country is kind of like shit now, but not that shit. All right. So, do I need to tell you the type of war crimes they have committed?
Yeah.
Just tell me one of them.
They got okay. So, people were getting into school buses, right? People
Oh,
were getting
no.
into buses.
They were blowing up school buses.
No, they would set them aflame, or kidnap all the children to make them soldiers.
Damn.
So they were blowing up the buses then, because they were lighting the shit
They
on.
were blowing up the buses then, because they were.
They were literally just like they weren't. They were lighting that shit on fire.
Assuming.
Is that the most you?
Assuming
Is that the most you got out of that?
Assuming the buses
That they were
ran on
fucking
gas.
that they were basically setting buses on fire. Yes.
Assuming the buses ran on gasoline, having fire lit into them would eventually cause an explosion.
Okay, is that all you got from that?
That they were committing a horrendous war crimes. Yeah.
Horrendous
Yeah.
war crimes against the people, yeah, all that type of stuff. Worst part about it too. Okay, so so it's not like in the you know how in the U.S. there's a whole rule in the Constitution where it's like soldiers can't enter your homes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the second. No, that's not the second. That's like the third, I believe.
Third. You want to know why that's part of the Constitution?
I was told because it was just because of like Spain and how they.
No, because British soldiers would come into your home and just ask you for shit. And yeah, that's basically what each side did. Difference is, let's say, if you let in a nationalist soldier in your home, if a communist found out, your home would be set ablaze. Your family slaughtered.
Jesus Christ.
Now,
Just
the same
light
thing
your
would
shit
happen with the communist. If you let a communist in your home and the nationalist found out, or one of your neighbors did so much as like talk about you letting a communist or a nationalist in your home, the other side would set your village ablaze because they would fear that you were supporting their party.
Damn. Okay.
Well,
I'm telling you all this. Matter of fact, I got a story from. Okay, so one of my
So
relatives
it's-
lived through the war. Matter of fact, nearly all of them did. A bunch of my relatives, like parents, lived through the war. So I'm gonna just tell you their fucking encounters and shit.
no, no.
So they were just eating dinner, right? They were just vibing, just chilling, in their poor ass little shack in, I don't know, it was in some place. It was in like the port. No, in El Salvador, because I'm talking about the Salvadorian Civil War, which is basically where the Cold War showed how ugly it was, right? And so they were like, "Yo," the nationalists were just like, "Yo, wouldn't it be funny if we started shooting communists that are conveniently here?" And they were like, "Yeah, it would be pretty funny." And so they started shooting out of each other. My family had to hide under the goddamn bed. It was great.
So there's outside of their house.
They were just shooting the shit out of each other, and so they had to hide under tables, beds, whatever, because I'm pretty sure a bunch of civilians were also killed in the fighting.
Sick.
Typical
And so-
paranoid house sliders. All
Another
come,
cool thing
but
was
no
that-
come.
After the fighting, I think those two relatives would just pick up the bullets and sell them. They pick up the bullet shells, right? They just pick them up after the fighting and sell them. Now, keep in mind, if you did this again, both sides would probably take your head.
Why?
Reselling
they're selling
bullets.
Yeah,
Why
they
resell the
basically
bullets? How much money do you get out of this?
not a lot, but you get money. That's a lot better than most, I guess.
Fair enough.
Pickle, has
And
your class ever made you watch that one film? What was it? Freaking The Boy That Harnessed the Wind?
No,
What
I
is
haven't
that?
watched it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, after all this, the Civil War was coming to a close, but not because one side was winning or the other side was losing. It ended in a stalemate.
Ha.
What do you mean? What did they do exactly?
Okay, so both sides were like, "Hey, if I become a party, will you stop shooting us?" Sure.
I
And
bet.
so the Communist Party just became its own little thing, right?
Nah.
And they ran the country for a bit, and they were corrupt ass pieces of shit. So in the end of the day, all that fighting, all that war, all that death for nothing.
Just basically for fucking nothing. What do you
And the
earn
thing
out of
is,
this?
nothing. If anything, shit is
Basically,
way worse back then than now. Because the upper class just up and left the country, leaving it kind of like economically vulnerable. So we were kind of fucked on that regard. Another thing we were fucked on is the fact that both sides killing each other so much, burning so much shit down, kind of caused the crops to just die. So a lot of the things we used to export and a lot of the things that would give us money then don't really give us money now because they're all dust.
Fun.
So the country ended up poorer than it was, and the war basically just did nothing to solve the problems.
Uh, is that the end of the history lesson?
No.
Fuck. Oh no. What else we have?
Basically, after all this, okay, so the communists gave a try to power, of course, corrupt. So guess who else came into power? La Arena.
America.
No, La Arena.
Fuck.
You know, those corrupt pieces
La
of shit.
Llorona?
No, La Arena. If you look up La Alianza Republicana de El Salvador, all you'll get is the fact that they launder money, steal all of it, do nothing with it. They just steal it. Don't invert anything into the people living in the goddamn country, which is what the money was supposed to be used for in the first place. I mean, at least the people in the U.S. try to hide that. They just straight up say, haha, you guys are fucking dumb. Now, we would overthrow them, but there's been so much goddamn fighting that another war in this goddamn country could lead it to it not existing anymore, so...
This is like a complicated Finance at Freddy's time.
And what's happening right now, as of current, is a new dude was voted into office because everyone was like, yo, these dudes suck. I want someone new. Someone who isn't communist or part of the fucking nationalists. I want something new, fresh, epic. And you know what we got?
The same thing, didn't we?
Independent.
Independent.
An independent goddamn person. He wasn't a communist, a nationalist, nothing. He was just a dude for the people, and he was like, yo, what if, hypothetically, I actually did stuff for the country? Wouldn't that be cool?
So we got this president who actually...
His name is Nayib Bukele. He was voted like 2 years ago. I think he's done way better than the past like 10 other clowns who have been there before him.
Son of a bitch.
Bukele. He's actually like from Palestine. He's not even native to El Salvador. I mean, he was born in it, but his parents weren't. Which kind of insults us because in a way, it's telling us that foreigners do a better job at running the country than people who were born in the country itself. Then again, most people who have gotten power in the goddamn country weren't even born in it. They were mostly either European, American, Arabs, you name it.
So really, you just have... wait.
Pickle. Did Central Americans have any... What's that archy called where it's like freaking... What's that freaking political leader system called where they think like God chooses their new president or some shit? What's it called again?
Feudalism? Feudalism. And it's not president, it's a whole emperor. No, they haven't gotten that.
No, so they didn't have that? Okay, cool.
They didn't have feudalism. I mean, they might have when they had like the natives and such, but I imagine it worked a lot differently from European feudalism. And yeah, right now they're trying to give him a hit of the state. They're trying to coup him by just saying, no, we're not going to do anything you say. Ha, fuck you. Which isn't working because unlike the past couple of presidents, people actually really like the guy, unless you're like a corrupt piece of shit arena. So basically, you either support him and you're in favor of the people, or you die.
Or you get shot dead.
You don't get shot dead, but still.
How compelling. Face the wall.
Ironically, the arena are the ones who do this. They're the ones who basically kill either political leaders, people who try to actually better the conditions of the country, or they just,
Wait,
hire an assassin on your ass.
Should this episode be an hour or just 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Alright, so if that's the case, we have one more minute, so might want to make
some Alright, so basically, dude, okay, so this isn't the only
So don't think that what's happening in Central America only happens here, because it happens in a bunch of other parts in the world. Basically, the entirety of the third world.
Yeah, most of a fucking. I think that most of Mexico and not Mexico, but everything below the United States is either fucking corrupt.
Somewhat, yeah.
I think there was
Anyhow,
more
yeah.
riots in Chile and shit, and
No, Chile is a whole other case. Anyhow, yeah, please enjoy my thing. Remember that one time we were all dictatorships and fought each other? Now we're just vibing. Thank you.
Well, bitches, that was the
that was the podcast. Yup.
yep, that was the podcast.
To be honest, I kind of liked it. I like learning.
Yeah, I liked it. This one was actually chill instead of being like bad, you know. All right, have a good one, people. Dweebing will be back in the next podcast. That I can promise.
Hopefully, when he gets his ass back into service.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you.
I got a question.